Speaking of stupid things, so the woke version of the Odyssey, Pastor Mark, is coming out, and the guys really want to talk about it. So let's roll the clip, and we'll jump into it.
Seems like this year, things might finally be changing. Christopher Nolan has turned his gigantic quantum space brain away from discovering the secrets of the universe and assembled one of the biggest all-star casts in modern Hollywood for The Odyssey, a retelling of Homer's epic saga about the Greek king Odysseus and his decade-long journey to get home to his family after fighting in the Trojan Wars for another 10 years before that. Meanwhile, his wife has to keep the home fires burning and contend with the unwanted advances of men who want the crown. Anyway, stories don't get much more epic than The Odyssey. It truly is one of the great adventures in human history, blending together mythology, religion, monsters, and the unbreakable determination of the human spirit, and bringing it to life on screen is a challenge that will strain the very limits of modern filmmaking. Problem is that The Odyssey was originally written in ancient Greek, obviously, meaning that it has to be translated into English for it to be legible, and what kind of story you ultimately get very much depends on which translated version you reads. In this case, Christopher Nolan has publicly stated that he's a big fan of the 2017 adaptation of The Odyssey, which was translated from Greek by British writer Emily Wilson. Why exactly does that matter? Well, because Emily Wilson just so happens to be a hardcore progressive feminist who specifically set out to reimagine Homer's text through a female-coded, gender-critical, postmodernist lens. That is the version we're likely to get here with all its gender identity navel-gazing, and if that doesn't raise a few red flags, then let's take a closer look at that all-star cast, shall we? Elliot Page is also in this movie. As what exactly? No, a drummer boy maybe? Page is like 5 feet tall and weighs 90 pounds soaking wet, so I don't really see how they're gonna fit in amongst all those big Greek soldiers and terrifying monsters. Lupita Nyong'o is widely rumoured to be playing the Greek princess Helen of Troy, which if it turns out to be true would make about as much sense as Papa Asuido playing Severus Snape, but hey, what can I say?
It's Hollywood, baby.
Thank you, Rachel.
Well, it's gonna get a lot gayer, Pastor Mark.
Yep. I mean, this we'll just get the dude from Bud Light and throw him in the mix. So it's not business, it's not entertainment, and it's not mainstream. It's not business. Woke progressivism is a secular cult, and the goal is not profitability, but to evangelize and convert people to worldview.
Yep.
So movies are selling worldview. Movies are sermons. When most people consume a sermon, they're actively engaged. With entertainment, you're passively engaged. So a movie is a sermon. It's a way of communicating a worldview. I read that they're going to dump like $250 million on this project.
His most expensive movie ever. Shot with all IMAX cameras. First ever movie to have that happen.
And so the goal is to wow you with technology while they convert you to progressive ideology.
I pulled the stats. Thought you might find this interesting. I pulled up the top woke movies that have failed and how bad they failed. So Snow White this last year, $370 million all in between marketing and production. They lost $170 million.
Does that include like going to platforms and on demand and international?
All the money they brought in, they lost.
Gosh,
they only brought in $200 million from a movie that they spent almost $400 million on. Disney 2023, the Marvels spent almost $500 million and brought in $200 million. A $300 million.
That's not a business. That's not a business.
$300 million. I don't know if people can grasp the delta there. $300 million loss. Indiana Jones 2023, Disney, they $516 million. They only brought in $350 million. So a lot of these are Disney. All the Disney woke movies that have come out. Buzz Lightyear, the woke same-sex kiss. They cut, but there was still the lesbian couple in it. Budget $250 million, and they only brought in $200. It says they lost $106 million, so there's some numbers missing there. But just woke movie after woke movie after woke movie that just fails. Hundreds of millions of dollars just lit on fire to preach an agenda. But like Disney's a for-profit company, and
It's
you look
supposed to
around.
be.
It's supposed to be, and you look around and you see like Top Gun comes out, and it's like top grossing movie, and it's just like an alpha heterosexual, just a great
Patriotic.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That's what we're looking for, and they just keep delivering garbage and garbage and garbage. When is Hollywood going to learn?
They're not, because they live in an echo chamber. So like if your last few decades of life have been, in West Hollywood, and everyone is gay and everything is progressive and everything is hard woke, you don't have an accurate perception of reality. You don't understand that the majority of Americans aren't living in that kind of echo chamber. Like when I used to, do ministry and live in downtown Seattle, you would think, all I knew growing up was Seattle. That's where I grew up. That's what I knew. That's where I went to school. That's where I'd been. And then you get a little older and you start traveling and you're like, oh, there's not homeless people with needles in their arm everywhere. There's not, trannies in the men's bathroom everywhere.
Yep.
These are just the minority weirdos that have assembled and collected together. And when you're there, it feels like that's the new normal. It's not. And so if you live in one of these, see the way these industries are held together, whether it's their lighting people or their screenwriters or their actors guild, it's a small ecosystem that all works together, but it's all the same cult. It's the same ideological secular cult. And so for them, this all makes perfect sense. But when they try to sell it, it's like Jaguar trying to sell expensive cars to rich white men with trannies on the hood.
They sold 12 cars.
Yeah.
First 2 quarters of the year.
Yeah. You're like,
Doesn't work.
I don't want that. They don't understand the market. And this is where Target gets the backlash. This is where Bud Light gets the backlash. It's like no one is learning, like this is an electric fence. If you urinate on it, you're going to get tasered. But they just keep doing the same thing.
The return, a fool to their folly on this one, where it's just the return to the vomit and eat it again. Let's try it one more time. Maybe it'll work this time. It was funny that one of my favorite things I've seen on the internet this year, the White House posted a reel, and it had a bunch of movie clips, and it was some epic video, just kind of mocking Iran and everything going on over there. And they had a Tropic Thunder clip in it that was very funny.
Was that the bomb Iran?
I think so.
See,
That
was pretty great.
It was really great. And then Ben Stiller comes out and he's like, hey, war is not comedy or entertainment. And hey, you filmed one of the funniest war movies ever, Tropic Thunder. And you mocked everything all these guys do for 2 hours, and it was hilarious. And it's one of your top movies. The White House is mocking the same thing, and they're using you to do it. But, that's out of bounds.
Yeah.
You literally profited off this.
But that's where they believe that their ideology is moral. And so there's a seriousness about their art, that their messaging is as serious to them as a sermon is to a preacher. And that is, I am presenting my ideological worldview, and it needs to be accepted and celebrated to confirm sort of my greatness and my intellect and my wisdom. And if it's rejected, I'm personally offended, because this art is my baby. And this is the downside with artists. For them, their art is their baby. And if you say, I don't like your art, you're slapping their baby. You're calling it an ugly baby. And they get very defensive and very emotional, and then they get very triggered. And then you realize they're actually taking all of this very seriously.
Yep. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and to your point, we were just in Palm Springs last week. It's 50% gay population.
Oh, I know. Elton John is the patron saint of Palm Springs. So
the reason why I looked it up, because I was like, this is just weird. We tried to stay in a resort, and they're like, we don't have children aren't allowed here. It wasn't a gay resort or anything. They're like, we just don't like children. So, and it's not on their website or anything. We're just like, no. And Indy's a great guy. But I looked it up. I was like, why is Palm Springs so gay? And it's because in the 50s and 60s, all of the actors had a 2-hour contract rule where they couldn't go anywhere further than 2 hours away from Hollywood. So Palm Springs was an hour and 45 minutes away. So it was the Hollywood playground. They would all go there. And so no kids allowed and super gay. And that was in the 60s, 70s. And now it's the gayest place on earth, literally. 50 to 60% gay population of who lives there. So to your point, Hollywood's kind of, they've been preaching the same agenda. The people that are all connected within this are, they don't like kids, they don't like marriage, they don't like Jesus, and that's the people preaching to your kids writing the Disney movies.
Yeah, and it reminds me, so there's a gal, Camille Paglia. She's got a couple volume set on the history of Western art. She's a bisexual, atheist, lesbian. So normally we're not on the same team.
Let's hang out.
But she makes the case that with Western civilization, when Christianity began to rise, that a lot of people think, well, it crushed paganism in the West. It didn't. She makes the argument that paganism moved over into art and entertainment.
Interesting.
And so Christianity didn't dominate in the sphere and the space of entertainment and the arts. And so it has always been pagan. Whereas, you've got Thomistic law and Thomas Aquinas in the realm of law. You've got in education in America was, the first 123 colleges and universities were founded by Christians. Christian education up until basically the Communist Manifesto calling for government education was all Christian. So Christianity, it influenced all the spheres of Western society and civilization, except for art and creativity and entertainment. And that's where paganism has always dominated. So where do the pagans go? They go into entertainment and the arts, and it's transgenderism, it's paganism, it's the worship of the environment, which is pantheism, panentheism. And so, that's all that it is. And so Hollywood is just one of those outposts where Christianity has never really been that influential in the realm of entertainment and the arts. And we assume it. So as a Christian, you're like, well, it's just godless, it's evil, it's pagan, it's demonic, it's perverted, it's tranny. Yeah, it is. That's their religion, that's their cult, that's their church.
Yeah, 100%. And it's dangerous for your kids to be just exposed loosely to this. We talked about that last week. Is you have to be so careful what you allow your kids to watch. And I was just thinking about it. You reference like Bud Light and Jaguar and some of those. Marketing is art. I see marketing as art. It's formed art for the last.
It's messaging, so it's creative.
So it's the creatives that are destroying the companies.
Yes,
because they're artists and they're 100%.
And a lot of the times it's not your HR, it's not your accounting that is coming up with these ideas.
No,
they're just paying for it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just processing that. It's interesting. It's a very insightful take on it. Just trying to understand, why are these companies doing it? It's really not the companies; it's the artists that companies hire. It's like, okay, I think that makes sense. Let's try that. It's like, no, that was a terrible idea.
Because then the creatives will, they'll go to accounting and say, we need this money because this is where culture is at, and this is the messaging that'll move the product. And accounting and HR and legal and those sides of the business, the back of the house, they're like, oh, we don't know.
Yeah.
So then you go for it and you're like, the creatives do not know the market.
No.
Because the creatives think they're the market.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Yeah.